Hey, y'all. Welcome to another episode of Build Through Broadcast with the Emerald Green Collective. It is I, Coach Shantae, along with Coach Shayola, and we will be your hosts today. And we are having a conversation about healthy aging. What is healthy aging? And maybe giving you some tips on how you can age healthy as well. So stay tuned. Welcome back. So, we are so excited to bring this topic to you because each one of us have people in our lives who are getting up in age, and some of them are doing really, really well, some of them not so much. So, this is giving us an opportunity to really dive into some tips and tidbits, things that they could do to just help themselves to feel better as they're getting older, to have that longevity that they're looking for, and all of the things. But this subject was chosen by everyone. We kind of put it to a vote and came up with why we wanted to choose this subject. So, Coach Shayola, for you, the subject of the day for you, the one that stood out the most that we just had to do this month?
Well, personally speaking, I feel that I'm aging gracefully. I don't know. It's something about I guess Gen X, maybe a little older. I feel like we are aging better. Like I love when people say, "Oh, are you in your 20s?" Like, child, bye. But reaching but thank you. Reaching the tender age of 43 has been quite a blessing, right? And I love and welcome when people think that I'm in my 20s or my 30s. But spending time with my grandmother has opened my eyes to a bit. I grew up with her, of course, in my younger days, and this is the longest time I think we've spent together. Since leaving home. So I like what, and I've heard Queen Afua say, this is the first time I actually ever heard it. And I'm pulling from Dr. Laela Africa's African Holistic book. And he says, aging is a natural process of all living organisms. Like, it's just going to happen, right? Disease does not come with old age. There are old people with diseases. I love that.
That's deep.
It is deep when you think about it, because I think that we have grown so accustomed to,
Yeah.
oh, I'm getting up in their age now. The arthritis going to set in, or the
Yep.
time for the gout, or, diabetes is, it runs in my family. I'm next, type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not sure if that's exactly how it works. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't some genetic things that take place, but yeah. So my reasoning was my own personal experience with aging, and my husband. I'll show you a picture of him in a moment, who, when he told me his age when we first met, I was like, oh my, really? Let me see that ID. Let me see something. And of course, my grandmother, who actually will be 90 in 30 days.
Oh,
So, you know,
wow.
picture of her too. Yep, she'll be 90 on October 1st.
That's
So,
amazing. That's my niece's birthday as well.
oh, is it?
Hmm.
Okay. So we
They're on
got
opposite
extra
ends of the
celebration.
spectrum.
Okay, okay. I'm gonna try to find a picture of her. Meanwhile, but why did you vote in on this topic?
There are a lot of reasons, but I this year have been blessed to spend more time with my grandmothers, my maternal and my paternal grandmothers. And they both had some health scares this year. My maternal grandmother was hospitalized for chest pain, and we were kind of worried about it. And then we come to find out she was moving bookcases by herself and didn't take the
All
books
right,
off
now,
of the
Grandma.
bookcase. So she's okay. And then my paternal grandmother, she was actually diagnosed with kidney failure and has been placed on dialysis. And,
Mm,
all of the things that come along with that have just been a lot for the family that's there taking care of her to deal with. And, when we think about getting older, we often think about, our bodies are going to change. They're going to start shutting down. They're not going to operate as functional, or excuse me, as optimally as they once did. But that's not necessarily true. So for me, this is an opportunity to really lean into what it actually means to age well or age gracefully. The things that we can do in our younger years, like starting with our children, like KB, you know, him having the
mhm,
opportunity to age gracefully and age well from infancy on through life because of the lifestyle that he is experiencing, the decisions that are being made for him. And then once he becomes old enough to make his own decisions, hopefully he'll continue making those decisions. So for me, it's about the generational legacy of good health, because health really is wealth. We
mhm,
can push our minds to the limits. We can do so much, but when the body really is not taken care of, it's much more challenging to do all of the things that we desire to do to sustain that wealth, or to create that wealth, or to even enjoy that wealth. So those
mhm.
two things really go hand in hand for building generational legacies.
I love that. I remember, I can't remember where I was, but it was like a story that went. There was a family that would celebrate Thanksgiving, and there was a daughter in the kitchen watching her mother prepare a ham, and the mom cut off both sides of the ham and put the ham in the pot. The daughter says, "Well, mom, why do you cut the ends of the ham?" She was like, "I don't know. That's what I just saw my mom do." So
Hmm.
they went out into the living room and they said, "Grandma, why do you cut the ham, the sides of the ham before you put it in the pan?" She said, "I don't know. That's something that I saw my mother do." So they called the great grandma, why were you cutting the sides of the ham before you put it in the pan? She said, "Well, that's the only way that I was going to get it to fit in there." So it's like we do things, we don't know why we do them. And that is very much the same with the way that we eat. When people say, "Oh, such and such runs in my family," it isn't necessarily the disease that runs in the family, it's the habits. We
Hmm.
prepare foods the way that our parents and grandparents and so forth and so on prepare foods. Thus, we suffer the same consequences, as you will, both good and bad, um, accordingly, right? So knowing that I don't necessarily have to, have said dis-ease if I choose to eat and treat my body temple a different way. And people say, well,
Absolutely.
right? It's just so amazing how, and no shade to anyone that goes to a spiritual house for their worship, but the first spiritual house really is your temple. So it's like we eat a bunch of garbage, but then we go to a church or a temple or what have you to worship. It's just kind of like off balance of off kilter, if you will. So this should be the primary thing. Your skin suit, your avatar,
Mhm.
your body, is what you should be looking to illuminate. right?
Absolutely.
Go ahead. What you was gonna say, Coach?
Well, I just wanted to just kind of talk a little bit about what it what I've seen in my life. So,
Mm,
we're talking about a lot of things, and you mentioned going to a church or going to a temple. And I remember as a little girl growing up in the Seventh day Adventist church, the Seventh day Adventist health message was like a really, really big thing. But the concentration of that knowledge was like at the conference level. So at the conference level, they talked about it, they lived it, it was, a way of life. But as you move further out from the conference and go into the individual churches, the health message wasn't as big of a thing. So if you go to places like Loma Linda, California, where
mm,
the
mm-hmm.
headquarters, I believe, of the Seventh Day Adventist Church is, that's one of the areas where there are a lot of centenarians, which are people that live to 100 or older, because they live and do certain things with their bodies. And we're talking about people who are vegetarian. They don't eat flesh, they don't eat eggs. We would classify them as vegan, but they way back when were vegetarians. They just made that decision and stuck to it. They, eat their herbs and do all the different things that they need to do in order to remain healthy. And I just think about,
Mm,
when we are now looking at things, we're not necessarily treating our bodies as temples. Even so, for me, when you look at aging, and you look at church and you look at the Black church specifically, you see so and so sister whose leg has been amputated because of diabetic issues. You have sister, brother so and so who is on diabetes medications or having to take insulin, and you have mother such and such. Who everybody thought she was doing so well, but she had high blood pressure and had a stroke, and all of these other things are happening within these spaces, and we can see it, and we see the food that these people are eating. We see the way that they're living their lives, and it's not necessarily in line with any health message or health practice. Because I distinctly remember as a kid growing up, we did not have any food that was not vegetarian served in the church. When I
mm,
got to like middle school, high school, they started allowing fried chicken to be served at church events. And although it was a massive shift within the church, the reality was they were just feeding the people that went to the church what they ate outside of the church. So it was
mm.
just the church now being in alignment with what the membership is already doing. So whatever spiritual house you follow, whatever spiritual practices you take on, it's extremely important to view yourself as a temple, because that is taught. My body is a with XYZ. So you have to really, if you're Christian, if you are Muslim, if you are a spiritualist, whatever you do with your spiritual self, you have to make sure that the body temple is well kept, so that as you are moving through this thing called life, having this physical experience as a spiritual being, you're able to fully engage with the life that you are living and be the healthiest version of yourself possible, so that you can commit to and fulfill whatever purpose it is that you came here to do.
Wow, that was a word, and we say thank you, Coach Shantae, for that. I mean, it really is amazing when you think about it. It can be very much counterproductive. And if you are really, whatever your spiritual house is, I'm sure that there is a accompanying book, scriptures. And if you are indeed following those tenets, those things, then again, you would be treating the body as a temple. I mean, this is not a spiritual house conversation, but what we know is that people aren't necessarily reading the work. They're just listening to what someone else is giving them, and they're going about their day, and today, just being in the hospital setting, I'm looking around, and you see people in their scrubs, older people, younger people, all the people, and they are responsible for care, right? And that
Mhm.
people got their sodas and their all the stuff, and I'm just like, this is what is being served, period.
Mhm.
Whether it's a hospital, a church, or whatever, we're just not eating well. So, over the next month, as we continue to recognize, if you will, Aging Healthy Awareness Month, we will go through again the mind, body, and spirit, and
Mhm.
how, we should just really be treating those things. And a lot of it will be speaking from experience. We'll see if we can pull some guests in to converse with us about their aging process. But before I go on, I want to show a couple of pictures. I do. So, this is my honey, and he is 62 Earth years young. And one thing about him, he may not. He like, now why you getting on there and telling people that? But he may not, work out as much as he used to before we got together. But when he told me he was at that time he was 62, I just couldn't believe it. Just like, wow, you look really, really great, for your age. And I'm just so happy that let me see if I could do it correctly. He has decided to take care of himself. Here we have Chef Babette. Some of us very well may be um, familiar with her, but Chef Babette is she is 72 years old. Now, she might have been late 60s when this photo was taken, because I can remember posting this on one of my old Instagram pages, but very much well into her 60s here. And that is just, y'all, she is fine, and I don't know if she's a raw foodie, but she definitely errs on the side of a plant-based diet. She does have a restaurant and is living life. But at 72, now she doesn't look very different now than in this picture, but just to say that, some people might say, well, that's an older picture of her. It is, but trust that she still very much looks the same. And then here is Miss Ernestine. Y'all, Miss Ernestine is 87 years old. Like current. This is Miss Ernestine. You're 87, y'all. That's what you say before we went live, Coach Shantae?
Listen, she is in better shape than I am.
Come on with a word.
110%.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
this is one of the benefits of committing to your health at whatever age you are, because I believe, I don't think Miss Ernestine lived her entire life in a health conscious manner. I think she
Mm-hmm.
started her health conscious journey and fitness journey later on in life. So it's not, we're not showing you the exceptions to the rule. These are not people that have just always been healthy. And we're saying, now look at what they're doing, and this is what
Right.
you need. Like, these are people that lived a life, made a decision, and that decision was a catalyst for them to look and feel the way that they look and feel today.
Wow. Ooh, sorry, Coach.
That's all
Pressing too
right.
many buttons. Too many buttons. But that is just so super amazing to me. I do have one more. I can let me see if I can pull it up. But what I do know is if we drink our water, taking our minerals and our vitamins, and eat well and mind
Mhm.
our business, we're gonna be
Ooh,
all right.
that last one.
You know,
That last one, I think, is a
gossip
critical
is the
component.
thief of mind our business.
Mm-hmm.
It and because so often we can get caught up, and it's just like, that's you stealing your joy. That's a wrinkle, right?
Yeah.
You better leave that
Stress
wrinkle
is a
alone.
killer.
But
Stress is
okay, I'm
a
coming back.
literal killer, and it will cause you all kinds of problems on a cellular level, that it takes a lot of time, effort, and energy to correct. So definitely minding your business and drinking your water. Stay on that.
Like, those things are primary, you know. Yeah, they just are. And I love that you bring up the stress, aspect of it, because stress really is a silent killer. And
Mm-hmm.
when I'm not saying that this has very much to do with age, but oftentimes I know as women folk, we can want to save the day and do all of the things, right?
Mhm.
Not saying it's all women, but we can fall in that category of people pleasing. And one thing I know about being a recovering people pleaser myself is if you're giving to everyone else, because that's what I'm supposed to do, there are definitely parts of yourself that you're ignoring, because you can't possibly mind someone else's life and mind your own and think
Right.
that, all it will be well in the world. That's just not, how it works. But I don't know if this came up. Can you see my screen, sis?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you see Nanny?
I do.
So this is Nanny. We went on, she told my mother, we went hiking. I said, no, we went for a walk. Definitely was not going to take you hiking in your little tennis shoes. But again, just to reach the age of 90, very, very close to, is a blessing. And, I'm definitely happy for her. Now, again, she might be like, why you get on there and telling people that? When I tell y'all, my grandmother is stubborn. Woo. So y'all know we start our detox on Sunday. So I'm like,
Hmm.
Nanny, whatever I eat, you gonna eat. Okay. Now I'm just I'm just so grateful, one, that she's agreed to go through these 21 days with
Hmm.
us. But y'all, my grandmother will sneak food. She will like she bought, those Danish cookies that come in the blue tin.
Hmm.
Yesterday I saw her pick them up. I said, you know what, I ain't gonna even say nothing to her, because she got until Saturday to get it together. And she eats a cookie. She was like, now she's a diabetic and she knows she's not supposed to be having these cookies, but free will. Do you, want it? I'm not gonna, do you. She eat the cookies. Oh, these cookies are so sweet. They cookies. What did you think was going to happen? She said, well, it's only 8 grams of sugar per cookie. That's a lot of sugar. So for her to, again, reach the age that she is, kind of eating not so great, it's still a blessing. But I can't wait to see who she is and how she is in the next 21 days, because I told her it's going to be juices, soups, salads, and smoothies. That's it, so.
I'm really excited to see how that goes from week to week, because
Mhm.
Nanny might be the litmus test. She might be the subject of conversation as we continue to go forward. Because I know from me personally, when it comes to detoxing, because I'm fully plant based, but
Mhm.
even in a fully plant based diet, there's still things that you can get wrong. There are still things that if you're not on top of it, you can fall off to the side with it. So I notice every time I detox, every time I take a break from cooked food, when I come back, my body always feels so much better. My joints feel so
Mhm.
much looser. Like there are so many major differences that I feel at the end of a detox or a fast or whatever. So
Mhm.
I'm definitely excited to see the feedback that she gives you from week to week as the detox moves forward, because it makes a huge, huge difference.
It really, really does. And now I'll be on watch, like, because she'll be like, "Oh, are you going anywhere today?" And she'll find a way to make it down the aisle of stuff that she knows she's not supposed to get. So, and even to see what comes up for her spiritually, what kind of
Mhm.
waste and weight she removes in that way would be, pretty, pretty amazing. So I didn't discuss this with the ladies before going live, but if you are seeing this live and you do want to join us for a detox, if you DM us today, being Friday, September 1st, it might be a little late to like rush and get your stuff, but you still will have time to do it. So maybe what, until like 8 p.m.
Yeah, I think we could do that.
Yeah, if you DM us, like, you know what, I need a detox too. I need a reset, a recharge. I want to do this with y'all. We do give you a guide. You do get a consultation. You get an energy reading. You get us, the community. You have access to our digital content. that will, give you some, tips and all the things to help you through the journey. So, and it will be the best 149 that you will spend,
Mm-hmm.
because, and also we'll gift you a ticket to our um 1 year anniversary webinar, which is on September 10th. So that's a lot of value for, $149. And
Absolutely.
if you stick and stay, you're gonna be like, okay, I feel a little limber too. Let me move. Let me move. Don't mind me, y'all. I'm super excited. So we're gonna go shopping today for a lot of like the dry stuff, Corilla and spirulina and all the things, and then
Oh
tomorrow
yes.
farmers market, and we're gonna get the rest of the stuff because come Sunday, you know, th- y'all, that's the four, okay? Smoothies, juices, salads, and soups. Now, what we gonna do for a snack? Some fruit. No.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe some granola, and even that is a stretch because the goal is just to kind of keep it down. But you have time until 8 p.m. tonight Eastern Standard Time. We can squeeze you in if you decide that this is something that you would like to do for yourself. So we'll be back next week Friday with, I believe, the mind and how to cultivate the mind for aging healthily.
Mm-hmm.
So before we close out, Coach Shantae, anything to add? And thank you all for coming in the room. If you're seeing us as a replay, drop replay in the comments. Please and thank you. Oh, and if you do want to join us for the 21-day detox, emeraldgreencollective.com.
The only thing I want to add is detoxing is a way of life. Okay, so if you missed this detox with us, definitely reach out and see if there's anything that we can do to assist. We're working on some things behind the scenes so that we can make sure that you are able to detox year round the Emerald Green way and get your life in order so that you are aging healthy and gracefully and able to teach your family how to do the same, because it really is about the village. We really have to do a better job of working together, connecting with each other, and holding each other accountable for those health goals that we say we want to meet, because it really does take all of us to truly impact change in our families and in our communities long term.
That's a word, y'all. So thank you again for joining us. Again, we'll be back next week with the mind as it relates to healthy aging. So until then, we say peace, love, and
Peace,
wholeness.
y'all.